How's it going, everyone? This is Yxlarb, and welcome back to my Sonic Adventure 2 bonus series. In the last episode, we carried on with the Chao feature, which we will for many more videos to come, and we explored the Chao kindergarten, named my Chao, Soluna, which, as you can see now, when you pick up your Chao, its name will be displayed. And we also named, if we can find him, there he is, we named Bosniancheese's Chao, Telfie. Oh, he's a little confused, or he's sleepy, or he's dazed, or it's hard to say exactly what's going on there. But in this episode, things are going to get, even more complicated than last time, but in a good way. We're going to be exploring things you guys want to see, you want to hear. First and foremost, we need to do something that I totally forgot to do the last time we were here, and that's go to the health center to see what Telfie's grades are. First of all, let's see the dark one. No way, this can't be! Your Chao is very healthy. Please take good care of your Chao. I love that. He loves to scare you. Okay, my wife. Now that my wife is almost a doctor, she would really get a kick out of this. I should send her something about that. Oh wow. Wow. Okay. Let's address the grades last. First, let's see. Oh wow. He's energetic. This is Bosniancheese to a fault. He's definitely energetic, but he's also carefree. Yeah, I guess you can only have one personality. You can't have multiple. Or more specifically, you can only have one attribute to your personality. But he also likes square fruit, just like Soluna does, and all that. Cool. And of course, there's nothing else in the record, so figured I'd just go through that stuff real fast. Back to the grades. Wow, he has an A in swimming. An A! Ugh! That's crazy talk, man. That is really something. Wow, yeah, I don't think I've seen many Chao start off with an A. That's really something. Of course, his report card isn't perfect. I mean, oops, go back. His report card isn't perfect. He's got a B in power, which is also good. C in flying, which is average, but then he's got 2 Ds in running and stamina. Stamina is one which is, I think particularly important to have be at least average, because every Chao needs stamina. Like, every Chao needs all of these stats to be, average, ideally. But if you can excel in one, like, say, running's probably one of the most important ones, with stamina being a close second. And Bosniancheese has a D, Telfie has a D in both of these. But we'll see. His plan is to have his Chao turn into a fly Chao. It's going to be a flying Chao. So its grade is going to go up from a C to a B, which is good, because then he'll have an A and 2 Bs, which is, pretty solid, even though he has the 2 Ds. So just keep that in mind, I guess. All right, well, we've already gone ahead and explored how stamina works. Or, maybe I wasn't very explicit, but I'll be more explicit now. Fruit is pretty much the only way to increase stamina. In fact, it's the only way. Just food. Oh, hey, you're going to go to sleep? Okay, cool. You can go to sleep, no problem. You be careful. Seriously. Yeah, fruit is the way to increase stamina. It's very simple. You give your Chao fruit. When they sleep, they don't like it. But you can just wake them up by petting them and then give them the fruit. Telfie has had no stamina yet, so we're going to give him some stamina. How do you increase the other stats then, you might wonder? Well, I already mentioned that the Chao fruit does it, but that's a pretty unconventional way of doing it. The traditional way is by giving them either animals or chaos drives. Now, what chaos drives are, I don't actually have one here on hand, but they come from robot enemies. You break open a robot enemy, and you're just going to keep going to sleep, aren't you? You open up a robot enemy, and they'll drop one. Animals, you find, just around the stage. You find them in Chao containers. This unicorn is a very special one that you can find, in the 3rd Chao box. And as you can see, animals can increase multiple stats at one time. The unicorn gave Telfie 2 experience points in swimming, 1 in flying, and 4 in running. So, yeah, animals can do that. Chaos drives can't. Please don't do this. Another thing that animals do specifically is change a Chao's appearance. As you can see, giving Telfie that raccoon just gave him raccoon ears and feet and arms. So this gives you some customizability to your Chao. I don't prefer it. I prefer a very clean look, but you know what? I cope with it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But things will just constantly change. As you saw there, the bunny actually decreased his power experience. Some animals, this is a downside to using animals, will take away experience points in something. So, for example, there. Not all animals will do this, but some will. When this happens, you can't lose a level. So as you can see, you have a max of 10 experience points. Not a max. You have 10 experience points that are required to level up, right? You can't drop a level. So let's say that the rabbit makes you lose 2 experience points in power. If you have only 1 experience point in power or 0, nothing will happen. Things will just stay the same, stay normal. So that's very interesting. But I'm trying to give all these animals to Telfie right now, and there's a reason why, and we'll describe that more a little bit later on. But you can only give each animal to a Chao once. I'm trying to give them all right now. Let's get our first level up. There he goes. Running, level up. As you can see, his score total, his point total, is 18 in running. And as you can see, there's a tiny, tiny little yellow bar that started to progress from the left. The more you level up, the higher the number will go, the bigger the bar will become. It's quite simple. Now, the animals will eventually just kind of disappear on their own. You won't really see it happen, but it will. The unicorn, as I was saying before, is a special animal. You can't find those as commonly. As you might remember, we got it in the 3rd Chao box in the area. Each animal type, most animal types are common. You can find them in pipes, in stages, in crates, or just wandering around, whatever it may be. Other types, like the unicorn, or like the dragon, or certain ones like that, you get from the Chao crates, like that. And I mean, as you saw, it was a good animal. It increased the stats of 3. It increased the experience points on 3 different stats. That's kind of a big deal. Alright guys, I'm out here in Radical Highway right now because I want to collect some animals and some Chaos Drives to show you a few more things. First of all, you've seen the Chaos Drives. You see me pick them up right there. You press the pause menu, you can see what you're holding in your inventory. You can't hold more than 10 things. When you're holding 10 items and you pick up another one, the item on the furthest to the right, the first one you picked up, will be dropped off and you'll lose it. So keep that in mind if you're looking for specific things, or if you somehow manage to have your unicorn on that side or something, and you don't want to lose it. Oh, you don't want to lose it. That was close. It really scared me. Let's see. Do we have an animal here? I thought maybe we did. Probably don't. They're not going to reward me that much. I'm not going to hide the animal away. But there's a max, I believe, of 10 animals per stage. I don't think that includes the ones that come from the Chao containers. Those are additional, so you can get 15, I suppose. So as you can see here, you've probably seen this before, but you can just find animals just roaming around. It's a little hedgehog-looking thing. I don't actually know what it is. I'm not completely aware of all of that stuff, but there's some more animals in here. I'm going to grab some. Alright guys, before we access the goal ring here, I just wanted to discuss a few things. So as you can see here, all animals and Chaos Drives have different color representations, as you can tell by their squares. Green indicates that that's at least primarily running type animal. Chaos Drives, as I may have alluded to previously, only upgrade the stat, therefore. They don't cross improve. So a purple Chaos Drive will only improve flying. A red Chaos Drive will only improve power. A yellow one, only swimming, and a green one, only running. A green animal might upgrade more than just running. A yellow animal, a swimming animal, might upgrade more than just swimming. And in fact, it might take away. Of course, animals generally increase stats more. Chaos Drives will typically only increase your stat by 2 to 3 experience points. So it'll take, probably 4 or so, 4 to 5, to actually level up. Whereas an animal, a decent animal, like a swimming animal, like that seal down there, the one on the very left, it might only take 2 of those to upgrade swimming all the way. So just keep that in mind. There's benefits to each, and drawbacks to each, pretty much. So yeah. All right. Now, when you enter the Chao Garden, you will release all 10 of the things that you were holding, like you saw before. That's not That's not really news. Let's see, who are you? So Luna, perfect. That's exactly who I was looking for. So we're gonna give you. I like to start with the seals because I'm pretty sure seals take away a certain stat. So if you give the ones that take away stats first, then you won't, you know, lose any experience points, which is nice. Oh, now you're going through your sleeping phase? Oh, man. Please don't do this. We're going to give you this little hedgehog looking thing. Some running and power. Some flying. Some swimming. Give us that first level. Boom, level 1. And that's 19 points. So there we go. Some power. I'm just giving you everything. There's one more of these, I think. Don't go to sleep! What about the cheetah? Aha, running is important. Cheetah should give you plenty of running. Yep, there we go. But it takes away swimming and flying. I didn't know that. Now this gives me a good opportunity to you know, I guess, convey a point I was making before. This is why your grade and your stat total matter more than your level. So as you can see, we're level 1 in both swimming and running. So Luna is. But because in swimming, so Luna only has a C versus running, in which she has a B. She only has 19 total stat points versus the 21 she has in running. So that kind of explains that a little bit more. And of course, there's a range. It's not like, you know, a Chao with a B grade in swimming will always get 19 after the first level. There's a range, but this is just kind of the early signs that running is better. So even if you didn't go to check your grade in the health center, you can just kind of tell by looking here. Let me go ahead and pet you a little bit. Got to get you used to Shadow. That's another big thing we need to explain. But before that, I need to address something that I've been meaning to address for quite some time. Wow, she's so happy. Plus, she looks kind of like a cat because of the cheetah arms and legs and tail and all that. Very, very cute. But anyway, as I was saying, time in the Chao Garden stands still. When you exit the Chao Garden, even when you go to the Chao Lobby or the kindergarten or whatever, time will stand still in the garden. So, like I was telling you before, wow, you were hungry. Like I was telling you before, it takes, you know, 3 to 4 hours for the Chao to gain a year on its life. 3 to 4 hours of real world time. That's 3 to 4 hours of That's 3 to 4 hours of real world time spent inside of the Chao Garden, physically inside it. So the time you spend in stages collecting rings or animals or chaos drives, that doesn't count. Time in the kindergarten doesn't count. Speaking of time, when you're inside the Chao kindergarten, when you put your Chao in the classroom, that time, the classroom time, doesn't change unless, this is so weird, unless you leave Chao World altogether. You have to be either on the main menu or you have to be you know, playing through an action stage or something. Even if you're in the Chao World, the Chao Lobby, whatever, it doesn't matter. So keep those two things in mind. When you're in the Chao Garden, time moves for every Chao in the Chao Garden. When you're outside of it, it stops moving. When you're Chao in the classroom, time stops moving unless you leave the Chao World altogether. Those two things are very important to keep in mind because you don't want to just be sitting around for a dozen hours, or you know, spending a dozen hours in a stage thinking that that's passing time in the Chao Garden, allowing your Chao to age, because that doesn't happen. Now, here's the next big point we need to discuss. So, as I alluded to previously, I want my Chao to become a running Chao, and Bosniancheese wants Telfie to become a flying Chao. Now, there's of course 5 ability types. The first 4 are very obvious. I'll pick up my Chao and show you. There's swimming type, flying type, running type, and power type. There's also a 5th type, which I guess would be attributed to stamina. That's not true, but that's kind of how it would fit because there's 5 types and there's 5 stats. It's called a normal Chao. Now, how do you influence a type? You'd think it has to do with your level. It's like, oh, if your highest level is in running, or if your highest stat total is in running, you'll become a running Chao upon evolution. That's not true. What it is based on the types of animals and chaos drives your Chao has most recently been exposed to. So, for example, if I were to give Soluna right now 20 running chaos drives or 20 running animals, hey, you're dancing around. What was that? Whoa! What? Okay, you haven't even had any lessons in anything. I didn't know you could do that from birth. That's awesome. Wow, okay. Yeah, but if I were to give Soluna 20 running Chaos Drives right now, that would mean she was most recently introduced to running, or let's pick a bigger number, like 50. She would almost certainly become a running Chao, or will become a running Chao. If I were to give her 50 power, then she would get, then same thing. She'd become a power Chao. To get a normal Chao is the toughest. You have to give your Chao a balance of all 4 types, not including stamina. So flying, swimming, power, and running, you have to give them an equal amount, but recently. So let's go back to my previous example. If I give my Chao 50 power, then 50 running, then 50 flying, then 50 swimming, what's my Chao going to become? A swimming Chao, because most recently it was exposed to swimming. The best thing you can do is give your Chao a roughly equal amount of Chaos Drives. Let's just say Chaos Drives, just to make things simple. In smaller intervals. So like give your Chao 5 running, 5 power, 5 swimming, 5 flying, and just keep doing that. And then, when your Chao evolves, it'll become a normal Chao. That's how that works. So that's what influences typing, but typing is only one of the 2 things that your Chao, I guess, becomes. The other thing it becomes is I guess it gains an alignment. That's the proper way of saying it. So as you can see, our Chao will look different. So Luna, and of course, I'm not referring to the body parts, the animal parts. I'm referring to their general color. As you can see, come on, Telfie is lighter. They both were born the same color, but Telfie is lighter, has a green dot above it, while Soluna is darker and has a darker yellow dot above it. And you're like, what's up with that? Well, that's because I've been carrying, hey, scratching your boot, your ass. If you care for a Chao with a dark character, aka Shadow, Rouge, or Eggman, it will gain a dark alignment. If you continue to care for him with a dark character, or if you hurt it with a hero character. The opposite is true for a hero alignment. If you want your Chao to become a hero Chao, you care for it with hero characters, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, or hurt it with dark characters. There are 3 alignments. 2 I just described, dark and hero. The third one is neutral. You get a neutral Chao by caring for it an equal amount, or a roughly equal amount, with both dark and hero characters. The way to do that, pretty much, is do a dark mission, feed the Chao whatever animals or Chaos Drives you got. Then do a hero mission, feed the Chao whatever you got. Do a dark mission, etc. Just do them simultaneously. It takes a lot more effort to get a neutral Chao, especially a neutral normal Chao, because you have to have a balance between stat upgrades, as well as what characters you care for it with. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to wake you down. Oh, but you seem to like it. We'll feed you. No. But at this point, I'm going to be making a conscious effort to not take care of either Chao with a character of the wrong alignment. I want my Chao to be a dark Chao, so I'm going to give it fruit. I'm going to feed it with Shadow and other dark characters. The opposite will be true for little Telfie over there. Now, you have to be moving with some form of purpose. You have to be moving somewhat quickly, because evolution comes, that 3 or 4 hours, that comes sooner than you think. So make sure you're taking care of your Chao. As you can see, Luna's getting darker by the minute, and eventually her, like everything about her will start to change. It's kind of a slow sort of metamorphosis in a way, and it's really cool. Honestly, at first it's very subtle. You're like, hey, is that ball slightly more yellow or slightly green? Or am I just seeing things? Am I tired? What's going on? Yeah, you level up. You see, she's even darker than she was the last time. It gets kind of crazy. I guess before moving on, I wanted to just discuss a few more things related to the garden. So as you can see, these fruit, they fall on their own. They just grow after a little bit of time, then they fall. You can also influence them by holding onto the tree like so, and then holding in one direction on the control stick. As you can see, or hopefully see, it might be a little slow, but the fruit will grow, and then eventually it'll get to the point where it's shaking, and it'll fall off. there's a maximum number of pieces of fruit that can exist in the garden at one time. So maybe they're not growing right now, and they only will, after some are eaten. But like, see these, they're shaking, they're very close to falling off. You can force them to come off this way. It's very easy, very simple. There, you awake. Stop scratching your ass, dude. Here we go. I'm gonna feed you one more, and then I'm gonna duck on out of here. But yeah, so that's kind of how it goes with the trees. And I already explained to you the time flow. There are more things to discuss regarding the Chao Garden. Not very much more, but well, at least not immediately. There will be things that come up later on, and that's the thing you're gonna hear me saying all throughout the series. It's like, oh, we'll discuss that later, or oh, that'll come up later, or oh, we'll see that later. That's just gonna be a constant theme, so be prepared for that. Now, one nice thing, so if you get a colored Chao, so as you saw when we were in the black market before, there was, a white egg, a blue egg, whatever, you can't really tell just by looking at the Chao what it's gonna become. So you look at this Chao, you can see it's got a red crest on its chest. It's starting to get a pointier, head. That tells you things. You look at this Chao, it's lighter, it's getting a green dot. The other one's, getting that yellow dot. Those are very clear signs that of its alignment. And we'll show you more here with Sonic. I'm going to go ahead and feed Telfie with Sonic. But if you get a colored Chao, it won't change colors like this. Oh, hey. I almost never see them sleeping on their stomachs. That is so cool. See, why am I seeing so many things for the first time after over a decade and a half of playing now while I'm filming it? That's actually cool because I want you guys to be exposed to this stuff. Now, one thing I want to say is that animals won't last forever in your Chao Garden, or same thing with Chaos Drives. You bring them in there, they'll eventually disappear. I don't know all the rules surrounding that, but I just know they won't last forever, so don't expect them to. Two other things I want to point out are, one, you'll see me go into City Escape a lot. The reason why is because it has the highest ring count, I'm pretty sure, of any stage, of over 400 rings. So you can come here, you can get them easily, it's a fairly easy stage, and you can increase your ring count so you can buy things in the black market. Another thing we're going to show off while we're here is if you whistle next to one of these pipes, an animal will pop out. In this case, a rabbit. That's one of the 10 hidden animals in this stage. So yeah, if you were wondering like, hey, why isn't Yxlarb discussing those pipes that we've been seeing all throughout this series? That's why. I've been waiting to discuss Chao for that reason. Here, we've got a raccoon. Now this shows you blue is actually a color I didn't address before. There is no blue Chaos Drive. Blue isn't even a stat. It's just a combination of stats. A raccoon doesn't excel in any one area, apparently, according to Sonic Adventure 2. It'll just give you some experience in most of, if not all of your stats. Whereas a rabbit will give you primarily running. That's the idea. And we're back. We're here to feed Telfie. Let's get it. Nope, you're so Luna. Telfie is right here. Nice and awake. That's exactly what I like. Whew. Now I'm going to show you a glitch in this game. Oh, I think I just screwed that one up. I did. Let's try again. No, I don't want to pick you up. It can be kind of tough to get. If you place the thing right in front of... Okay, stop it. There's a certain place, and if you place it right in front of them... Okay, why does that keep happening? Right here. See, they'll absorb the energy from the Chaos Drive or the animal, but then you can pick it up again. Aha! I'm getting it. And eventually you'll become really good at this, and then you'll be able to use up your resources in a much more efficient way. You won't have to go to a level and get 10 things, and then come back and get 10 things, and then go back to the stage, get 10 things. It can get very tedious. Sure, you can get, rings while you're doing it and everything. But if you want an easy way, I just showed it to you. That works with both animals and Chaos Drives, and as far as I'm aware, on every version of the game. So keep that in mind. Alright, trying to feed you. Did I give you every animal? Aha. There we go. And that's level 4 running. Oh, almost. Almost. I'm going to go ahead and feed you a little bit too. Now, as you can see, this Chao is looking even more different. It had like a light-ish green ball before. Now Telfie has like a bluish, grayish blue tinge overall, along with 2 little nubs on its head. That is a sign that it's going to become a hero Chao. So as you can see, it doesn't take very much to align a Chao a specific way. Just feed them, just give them animals and chaos drives. By the way, it's always been a little weird to me that you give a Chao animals. It's like absorbing an animal's energy. Does it hurt the animal? It's like, well, what's it doing? What's it doing to that animal? I don't know. But I guess while we're waiting for you to eat, I can explain the movement. So in the Chao Garden, as Sonic and Shadow, you pretty much have access to your full move set. You know, you can't grind because there's nothing to grind. But the only thing you can't do is spin. Can't spin, and you can't spin dash either. That's pretty much the end, but you can bounce, which is fun. It's fun to bounce. Yeah, so, and we'll discuss more movement stuff. It's not, you know, super relevant when it comes to Shadow and Sonic. I mean, the Chao Garden is so small, you don't really need to be spin dashing in here. It's faster to do almost anything else because you don't have to spend time charging up, just jumping or whatever. So keep that sort of thing in mind. And wow, why are you not hungry? Of course, now we have the Chaos aligned. You can tell. This is very clearly, you know, Telfie is very clearly pretty much a hero child, whereas Soluna is a dark child. Come here. I'm just trying to save your life. Totally black at this point. You're not even gray. You're just a black Chao, pretty much. You're adorable, too. But okay, come on, Telfie. Eat a little bit more. But I'm going to put her next to Telfie, just so you can see. Look at how different they are at this point. They're totally different. It's crazy. But as I was saying, I have done the alignment part. Now is kind of the more time-consuming part and the more difficult part. And that is getting them to get the ability type that I want. So running for Soluna and flying for Telfie. So let's see. We're at level 1 running right here. You know, nothing too spectacular yet. And then, wow, level 3 running, almost 4. And then only level 1 flying here. Again, the level doesn't affect it. It's all about what you exposed them to recently. So let me just go ahead and explain to you my strategy while I exit and I show you something else. My strategy is pretty much going to be this. I'm going to go into a level with a character. I'm going to, you know, I'll probably alternate between the 2 of them. I'll go into like a Sonic level and get nothing except for green animals and green chaos drives. Then I'll go into a mission with, sorry, I'm mixing them up in my head. I'm going to go into a Shadow level like Radical Highway and get nothing but green chaos drives and green animals. And then go into City Escape and get nothing but, you know, purple chaos drives and purple animals if there are any. That's obviously not the best level to get purple, you know, flying animals. There's other better levels for that, and I'll probably explore them for that reason. Like in Wild Canyon or something. I'm pretty sure that one has a lot of flying animals. The last thing I wanted to, you know, just mention, there's actually 2 things. God, there's always so much to mention. One, let's say you go into Radical Highway right now and you collect 10 chaos drives or animals, and then you leave. But you don't go to the Chao Garden because you forgot the Chao key. What happens to those things? Nothing. You can just simply go to Chao World from the stage select screen, and whatever you're holding will be with you when you enter. The last thing I wanted to mention, speaking of going to Chao World, as you can see, you have all 6 characters here, but we can only access Chao World with Shadow and Sonic. And that's because we've only collected Chao keys with those 2 characters. If you want to access the Chao World with each specific character, or a particular character, you have to collect the Chao key in a stage with that character. So just keep that in mind, and then otherwise you can just access Chao World from right here. So anyway, guys, that's probably enough for this episode. It probably ran long. I might have cut it into 2. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm really enjoying myself. I'm hoping you're all enjoying it and you're taking in good information and you're being entertained, at least in some regard. Things will get more entertaining and they will get more fast-paced as we go. Now that we've really laid the foundation, the groundwork, we're going to be able to build on top of that and really get into some more nitty-gritty stuff, discuss strategy a lot more, and actually show some progress. You know what I mean? Rather than just explaining every little thing. So, yeah, we're past that point, hopefully, for the most part, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.